Good afternoon. Welcome to RBN Report. I'm Fatima Kazmi.
And I'm Betty Wandamu. Our top story. The LCBO is edging closer to a possible strike. Employees have been without a contract since the end of March. They're in talks with management today, and more talks are scheduled. But in a strike vote, 95% of the workers supported walking off the job if the talks collapse. This has the drinking public thinking about alternatives.
I don't think they should go on strike. A lot of people need their alcohol.
I guess that sounds fair, but I don't like the fact that they can just go on strike and leave everybody out in the cold with no booze. Yeah, because, that's the recreation. I guess we'll just have to be sober until they straighten that stuff out, I guess.
People deserve to be treated well, so if they're not, then they can strike, I guess. It's their right.
Porter Airlines wants to fly jets out of downtown Harbor Airport. The company confirmed today a conditional deal to buy 12 CS-100 jets from Bombardier. The jets will increase Porter's operating range, allowing it to add destinations such as Vancouver that its current planes can't reach. In order to accommodate the new planes, Porter would have to extend its runway by 336 meters. Currently, jets are only allowed to fly out of Billy Bishop under special circumstances.
The vote to determine whether Toronto gets a casino is in just under a month, and more city councillors are letting us know how they'll vote. 21 have confirmed they will be voting against the proposed casino. If another 2 join the chorus, the proposal will be defeated and there will be no casino downtown. Mayor Rob Ford has supported the project all along, calling it a golden opportunity.
And from a place where you spend money to a place where you save it. On Saturday, the CBC reported that the Royal Bank of Canada was outsourcing dozens of positions. Mike Burke is a longtime professor of politics here at Ryerson. He says outsourcing is bad for Canada.
I think businesses will be able to increase their profits, but it's going to be at the expense of real living wages of Canadian workers. And the problem with some of these temporary foreign workers is that they get sort of exploited much more than Canadian workers do because they're coming in at lower wages and working conditions. It's not a good thing because many of those temporary foreign workers will not be able to get landed immigrant status. They won't be able to become Canadian citizens. So it's kind of a seasonal thing. You're brought in at cheap wages and poor working conditions to do a job, and then you're let go.
RBC is a longtime client of iGate, the Californian company that hires the temporary workers.
If you thought Canada was one of the best places in the world to raise a child, you'd be wrong. We ranked 17 out of 29 in the latest UNICEF poll of child welfare in wealthy countries. Canada scored below average grades for child poverty, obesity, and life satisfaction. The Netherlands ranked first overall, while Romania was last.
Turning now to international news, North Korea has told any tourists visiting South Korea they should leave the country. In rhetoric that's strong even by North Korean standards. Officials said yesterday the two countries are on the verge of a nuclear war. Observers say at least one ballistic missile with an estimated range of 3,000 kilometers is fueled and ready for launch. Military officials in South Korea and Japan and the U.S. say they're prepared for any threat from North Korea.
Pakistan has increased tensions today with its neighbor, India. It did so by launching its brand new nuclear rocket. Officials were on hand to witness the launch of the HAT-4 Shaheen one-weapon system. This missile is nuclear capable and can strike targets from as far away as 900 kilometers. That puts cities in many parts of India at risk. This test comes only a few days after India successfully tested its own nuclear missile.
The day after a 6.1 magnitude earthquake struck southwest Iran, the Red Crescent says 20 survivors have been pulled from the rubble. 37 people died in the quake, about 850 were injured, and hundreds of homes were destroyed. It happened in the city of Bashar. Aid workers are distributing food and other supplies to the people in the region. Helicopters and hundreds of ambulances are also involved in the aid effort. The epicenter of the earthquake struck 100 kilometers from the Bashar atomic station, but was undamaged, according to Iranian officials.
Back to local news. Kensington Market is known as a haven for hipsters and indie culture, but a proposed new Loblaws near Augusta and College threatens to change that. Residents are worried that the opening of a giant supermarket will hurt local businesses, and along with it, Kensington's iconic appeal. Prajakta Depade reports.
The bustling Kensington Market may be at risk, and the group Friends of Kensington is petitioning against the proposed opening of a Loblaws in the area.
Well, I'm worried that it will have a really seriously bad effect on the greengrocers, the butchers, the cheese sellers, the fishmongers, who are really the core of the market. And I'm worried that if those people go, they'll be replaced by more bars, more restaurants.
The Loblaws to be built in a condo development may cripple independent grocers in Kensington. The 20,000 square foot supermarket could mean less business for smaller shops. Still, some regulars say they'll stick with local merchants.
I do go out of my way to come here so I can support the merchants and obviously to benefit from, taking a walk in Kensington Market, grabbing a quick bite. They have awesome coffee. So, as I said, it's the total package.
Some are signing the petition because they feel it'll make a difference. Others aren't hopeful but sign out of support.
Loblaws wants to maintain a good reputation in the public eye too, so there's a lot of outcry against it, then I think that they'll probably listen.
I'm not optimistic actually, but we do what we can.
And yet others think the Loblaws might not be such a bad thing for the neighborhood and might even bring more business to specialty stores like Cheese Magic.
There's the whole condo above it, right? Wealthy people spending money. So there is like that aspect to it where it does bring in people.
Even small business owners who would be unaffected by the Loblaws feel that it'll only take away from Kensington's charm.
It's a very old environment. It has appealed to different businesses over the years. I like to try to think that it will continue to stay small business and continue its kind of unique flavor.
This is College right by Augusta, where the proposed Loblaws may be built, just steps away from Kensington Market. Development of the supermarket has yet to be confirmed, but in the meantime, residents continue to fight against it. Whether their efforts will be successful remains to be seen. I'm Prajakta Depade for Ryerson TV.
In entertainment news, Star Wars fans might be happy to learn that Princess Leia will be appearing in the next film. But will this restore faith in the Star Wars franchise? Ryan Skilton reports on some of the skepticism surrounding Episode 7.
Carrie Fisher has confirmed that she will be reprising her role of Princess Leia in the upcoming Star Wars film. Will this restore faith in the Star Wars franchise, or will it do more harm than good?
I think that is the person that I got really attached to into the movie, and it's always better to keep the same actors because in that way people like me can always keep on coming back and it gives me a reason. That's great news.
Fans are happy to learn of Fisher's involvement and hope that it will provide a bridge between the old and the new films.
That was the biggest problem with the original three, is they're so separate from the first. Like the prequels were they felt like totally different films. Hopefully they manage to organically tie the originals with these ones.
Founder George Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Walt Disney Corporation back in late October for $4 billion. Disney was quick to announce that they will be releasing Star Wars Episode 7 in 2015. Star Wars enthusiasts are concerned with the integrity of the film now that it is in the hands of Disney.
I just think it's going to all be like, really, really wholesome. They just think it's going to be really boring, but Disney bought Marvel, and look what they did with it. They've got the Captain America movie, the Avengers, which was amazing.
Fisher has publicly discussed her battle with addiction and bipolar disorder. She was recently hospitalized for a bipolar incident during her live performance on a cruise ship.
The way she talks, you can tell she's been drinking for a couple of years. But I'm sure they'll clean that up in post-production, like voiceovers or clean it, just studio tricks.
Despite criticisms, people are eager to hit the cinemas when Star Wars Episode 7 is released.
Yes, I will be seeing the movie in theaters, hopefully in IMAX, with my husband, without the children, and then after I'll be renting it with the kids so they can sit as much as they want to.
Will Disney be able to keep the integrity of the Star Wars saga intact? And will Fisher live up to her role as Princess Leia? Find out in 2015. I'm Ryan Skilton for Ryerson TV.
And that's not all in entertainment news. We have lots of stories to look at today. Fortunately, we've got Tamara Sistan here to tell us more. Hi, Tamara. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Betty. It's really nice to be here.
That's great. All right. So what do you have for us?
Well, it's been quite a week in Hollywood. TV show host and Oprah's former interior design guru, Nate Berkus, is engaged. The engagement was confirmed to People this morning. Berkus proposed to his boyfriend of nearly a year, Jeremiah Brent, on Monday in Peru. The wedding is expected to be next year. MTV has canceled the reality show Buck Wild just 1 week after the accidental death of its star Shane Gandy. Gandy, along with his uncle and friend, died of carbon monoxide poisoning when their car got stuck in the mud during an off-roading excursion. The show had just started its second season before it was unexpectedly cut yesterday. Now the man with the big last name is moving to big places. Canada's George Stroumboulopoulos announced that he will be hosting a primetime interview show on CNN this summer. The show will air with 10 hour-long episodes that will be taped in front of a live audience in Los Angeles. Stroumboulopoulos has gone a long way since his time as a Much Music VJ, working hard to become a serious journalist in the Canadian industry. His show, George Stroumboulopoulos Tonight, has won 8 Gemini Awards. Although Stroumboulopoulos' gig at CNN is not expected to conflict with his current show on CBC, many wonder what's next for our homegrown talent. Either way, we wish him the best of luck.
Now for today's weather. It's kind of dreary out there. Iman has more on your 5-day weather forecast.
Well, Betty, spring might be here, but don't bring out your shorts just yet. The rain is continuing all throughout the day, and on Thursday we have something new to April, a winter storm warning. We're expecting a mix of ice and snow and temperatures of 0. The bad weather continues on Friday with a mix of ice and rain and a high of 4. Saturday might finally be an end to this rainy weather with a mix of sun and clouds and a high of 6. It'll be a little warmer on Sunday with a high of 8. Let's hope next week will be jacket free. That's your weather for today. I'm Iman Ali. Now back to the desk.
Time now for sports. We're joined by our sports analyst, Ryan Skilton. Hey Ryan, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
Good, yourself?
Good. So, what do you got for us today?
Well, I gotta say, it's a good time to be a Leafs fan right now. And no, I'm not being sarcastic. Going into the game against the Rangers tonight, the Leafs are 6 points ahead of the 9th place Jets. All signs are pointing to playoff hockey finally returning to Toronto. SportsClubStats.com says the Leafs have a 99.8% chance of making the playoffs. The last time Toronto made the playoffs was in 2004, the same year Friends filmed their last episode.
So what about golf? Does Mike Weir have any chance of winning this weekend?
Well, Mike Weir, he's Canada's only hope this year, but the odds are pretty against him. So Vegas has him at 500 to 1 odds to win the tournament, but given that this is the 10th anniversary of Weir's Masters victory, this will be a special weekend for the Canadian, win or lose. Tiger is the obvious favorite though. He's had a tremendous bounce back year and says that even though he's 37, he still has a lot of years left in him.
You know, that's one of the neat things about our career. It's so long. We have an opportunity to play, you know, basically 30 years solidly at a high level. You know, some of the guys have come out here at 20 and have done well into their 50s. So we have very expansive careers, and I feel like I'm, you know, basically right in the middle of mine. So, you know, I have a lot of good years ahead of me, and, you know, I'm excited.
You can catch the Leafs tonight at 7 and the Masters at 3 tomorrow, both on TSN.
And that's our show for today. I'm Fatima Kazmi.
And I'm Betty Wandamu. Thanks for watching.